Hi everyone. Building Excel-style tables with different formulae on each row has always been a pain point in Qlik. We have all created Excel-style tables in Qlik using Valuelist as a dimension and pick-match in the expression in order to achieve the cell-level control in Qlik tables like it is in Excel. However, these become hard to read and maintain when expressions in the cells get extremely complex and also fidgety when you need to add new lines in an existing front-end Qlik table. So I looked for an external way of maintaining these, and I'm now sharing the framework and files to be able to easily create, maintain, and change these Excel-style tables in Qlik. These can also be useful when trying to create scorecard KPIs using a Qlik table. Two things are needed for this process, which I have shared on this post. Firstly, a spreadsheet for assisting the loading and build of the row-level information required in all your Qlik tables. I have shared two Excel spreadsheets, one with a useful macro, which I'll be using in this presentation, and a standard XLSX for those that don't want to download a file with a macro in it. Secondly, what is required is a QlikView script QVS that is related to this spreadsheet and that you can put in a Qlik document with an include statement. The script then creates, for the front end, easy to use variables for creating your Excel-styled Qlik tables. Let's open this Excel spreadsheet and Qlik side by side to see how quick and easily these custom tables can be created, changed, and extended. Let me first put in the include statement into the Qlik script of the app so that everything will refresh on reload. So I've put in my include statement, which is pointing towards a QVS. There's also one little reference file here that I'm using as a variable inside the library connection. So you might want to just change that and point directly to it. And I'm going to hit on the reload button and make sure that everything goes through fine. Now there's one little change that you might want to make on the QVS itself, is that you can be pointing either to the XLSM, so the macro enabled Excel, or to the SLSX, and you have to be able to decide which one you're actually using and point to that. I've put in some sample data in this Excel spreadsheet to show how the whole process works. Please take awareness of the column names as these are referenced in the front end, and I'll explain to you how these work. 3 variables will be created for the front end in the Qlik app via the script, which relate to the content in the Excel spreadsheets. First is VXL style column, second is VXL cell background, and the third is VXL text color. Each of these variables requires 3 parameters, which we'll call A, B, and C. A actually refers to the column that is referenced in this Excel spreadsheet. So this will be the first column, this will be the second column that we'll reference in the Qlik table, the third column, and I've created 11 columns in this template spreadsheet. But if you want to add more, then please do so. Look at the QVS to be able to understand how each one of these works. The second parameter that has to be passed through is B, what we'll call B, and that's the table ID. So let's say, for example, if I'm going to use 1 to be able to create my first table, then I'll be able to reference only what is here in the first, in table ID 1, with the first column, the second column, the third column, so on and so forth. And the last one, which is the C, is the measure ID itself. So if you want to refer to a single cell, then maybe as a KPI, then you would use this. Otherwise, you can use the wildcard star asterisk to show all the rows in a table. Let us look at a practical case example so that it'll make it easier to understand how this whole process works and how easy it is to maintain and make changes in these Excel-styled Qlik tables. Let us say, for example, I want to make a table in Qlik with all the rows for table ID 1, like I've highlighted here in this Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to reload the Qlik script to be able to get all this data in. I'm going to now create a table in the front end in Qlik, and I'm going to put in the measure name as the dim. And you'll be able to see when I get that done that this measure name is exactly what I see in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in an expression for referencing the first column of values. So I'm going to put in the measure, and I'm going to put in my variable, which is VXL style column. And now, since I'm referencing the first column, I'm going to put in 1 for my first parameter. Since I'm referring to the first table, the table ID 1 here, I'm going to put in 1 for my second. And because I want to pick up all the values in the measure IDs, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use star, the asterisks, to be able to reference all of these different values. And now when I click on apply, you can see I have exactly the same values here as I have here. Now, to show you how I can quickly leverage this structure, I'm going to create a duplicate of this column that I've created. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference the second column itself, not the first anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the reference 2, and you can see now that I have the same values here as I have here. Now let us say, for example, I want to create a table for the table ID number 5. All I need to do is create a copy of this table. And I'm going to come and paste it in. And I'm going to go back to the first column. And now, rather than having table ID 1, I'm going to have table ID 5. And now you can see, well, the thing is I have to first take out this. I'm going to delete this one. Here I have the same values as I have on this side. So I've easily leveraged this, and to be able to start creating multiple columns and different types of structures, it is quite. Now if I go back to the first table, I can show you how I can use these visual cues for the cell background and the text color to be able to start playing around with each one of these different values in exactly the same way as we've been calling for the expressions in the different columns. Going back to the first table, you can then add the cell background variable, which is the VXL cell background with the same parameters A, B, and C, and also the text background variable, which is the VXL text color with the same parameters A, B, and C. So for these two variables, all I need to do is need to change the name of the variable name. Anyhow, the parameters are exactly the same as the expression in that column itself. Now let's make some changes in the Excel spreadsheet to be able to see how quickly these changes are reflected inside the application. So I make the change, make the save, reload the script, which then will update the variables and everything inside. And you can see that now it has changed that cell to blue, the second row, the first cell, second row, to blue. So now I'm going to change it back to white, change the text color to blue, save the Excel spreadsheet, hit the reload button, and we should be able to see once again that the color has changed, and now it's taken, the font has become blue. So this is how quickly you can change, make the changes in the Excel spreadsheet, and how quickly it'll reflect in the front end itself. Naturally, this reacts to any Qlik expressions. You don't have to actually type in the number. Notably, it can use set analysis also. Let's say, for example, I want to add some lines at the bottom of my first table. So I'm going to move the table down, so that I don't lose any of the formatting in the Excel itself. I'm going to add in a new measure name. So I'm going to look for July 2017, the sum of the invoices. I'm going to put another one for September 2017, and a last line, which is going to be the sum of the two. Now you can see on the right-hand side, I've created a small table in Qlik. I've done a binary load to be able to get some data, just to be able to show you how the set analysis can work inside this Excel spreadsheet also, and you can actually point to a measure for every single cell. So I've created a set analysis expression, which I'm going to paste into the place of where I want it to show. So I have the sum of the invoices for July 2017 and the sum of the invoices for September 2017. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the concatenate function to create a new string based on the two previous
expressions that I have. So you can use a concatenate function to be able to create your string, the string that you want inside that cell as an expression. So I complete that. I'm going to make, and then you can see it has come out. So I save the Excel spreadsheet. I reload the script and I come back into the front end. And oh yes, so I forgot to change the table ID to the right one. So I have to change the table ID 2 to table ID 1. Save that and hit the reload, and then look at the front end again. And oh yes, and now we have to sort by the measure ID to be able to have the same order that we see in the Excel spreadsheets. And I'm going to exclude 0 values so that I don't show all the other measure names that are coming out as zeros. And I forgot to make the changes on the table ID again, so I'm going to do that. Save it, hit the reload button, and we should be able to see immediately the reflections inside the table itself. And now you can see that we have exactly the same figures for the set analysis expressions that we've created. Naturally, we also have the number format, which you can change. There is a tab at the bottom that you can see that it's called the number formatting map. If you need more number formats, you can go on and add a look at the structure that's in there and add your own to be able to then have more, let's say, money formats or any other format that you're looking for. There is a specific naming convention which looks at the 2DP as decimal points, M as million, K as thousands, G as millions, but using the G symbol. Have a look at the number format mapping, and it'll make some sense. So now I hit the reload. Now that I've changed the mapping, the number format, and you can see that the number format has changed. And naturally, I'm going to sort by the measure ID so that I have it in exactly the same format as is in the spreadsheet. So like this, you can leverage the spreadsheet itself, make very quick changes, and automatically reflect that in each table itself. So naturally, you can use the table ID to be able to create as many tables as you want, and you just put them all in here in exactly the same format that you want to see it inside the Qlik table, and you just do the reload. You can create as many tables as you want, but you can also identify each cell, for example, if you want to use it as a KPI. So now let's have a let's look at a quick example. If I want to see, let's say, one specific value, all I do is I copy and paste that value in, and I change that last ampersand to the measure ID that I want to refer to. So here I've referred to 111, which is the measure ID 1 for table 1 in the first column. And if I change that to 3, then it comes up with the third value. So same thing, I can play around with my expressions, save them and reload them just to be able to look at how it comes out. And now I'm going to change it to the 6th value, or the 6th ID, the 6th measure ID. I hit the reload and okay, yeah, it came out as mu, but that's because of the number format. So let me have a quick change of the number format, and also let me change the expression around so that we come up with a percentage value. I'm going to take the percentage value as my number format, change that, save the Excel spreadsheet, hit the reload button, close that, and then we can have a look at what value comes inside. And naturally, the last thing that I should do is put the measure name as the for the number format in order for it to reflect in the KPI itself. I want to take this opportunity to thank an ex-colleague and friend of mine, Janusz Twardziak, for all his help and thoughts, as his coding was used in the Qlik script to put the variables into the front end. So have a look at that. As well as the debugging of the variables expression for the front end, which uses the pick match, and getting it to work the way it should. Have fun, and please share your thoughts or post a like for this article if it helps you out.